Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. I'm David Mencer, Israeli government spokesman. A quick update from me and then over to your questions on this Thursday, the 25th of July, day 293 of the October 7th war. To start with, the Prime Minister's historic fourth address to both houses of Congress in Washington, D.C. yesterday. The text of the speech is available on the Prime Minister's website. Also on the site are the Prime Minister's comments at the memorial service for the late, great Senator Joe Lieberman of blessed memory, also held yesterday at the Washington Hebrew congregation. I think all Israelis held Senator Lieberman with the deepest of affection and respect. Ahead of other meetings, which I will talk about in a moment, I wanted to share with you the other congressional leaders the Prime Minister has met already on this visit. Leaders of both houses, House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The Prime Minister also met with former Vice Presidents Mike Pence and Al Gore. To update you further on further meetings later today and tomorrow, I can confirm that the Prime Minister will meet with President Biden and the two leading candidates for the US presidency today. The White House has scheduled President Biden meet with our Prime Minister at 1 p.m. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The meeting with Vice President Kamala Harris is also scheduled for later this afternoon. On Friday, the Prime Minister is scheduled to meet with President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. In his meetings, with all of these meetings, the Prime Minister will emphasize the strong bond, the unbreakable bond between the United States and Israel, Israel's position in its war against Hamas, the dangers that Iran and its axis of terror proxies pose to the Middle East, and the struggle to bring about the release of our hostages. Now, the latest on our hostages, you may have seen that Israeli security services have retrieved the bodies of 5 hostages from Hamas captivity. The body of fallen soldier, Sergeant Major in the reserves, Ravid Aryeh Katz, was retrieved. He fell in battle during the brutal October 7th attacks, and his body was cruelly abducted to Gaza. The rescue was carried out yesterday alongside the rescue of the bodies of hostage Maya Goren and of the fallen soldiers held captive Master Sergeant in the reserves Oren Goldin and Staff Sergeant Tomer Achimas and Sergeant Kirill Brodsky. Israel is committed to bringing back all 115 hostages, among them women, children, the elderly, who are still cruelly being held in Hamas captivity for over 9 months now, the living and the deceased alike. In a similar vein, unfortunately, sad news of IDF casualties, 684 since the start of this war. Captain Ariel Topaz was just 24 years old from Pardes Chana. He died of his wounds after being seriously injured 11 days ago in the terror attack near Ramlah in central Israel. Doctors fought valiantly for Topaz's life in the days following the attack, but unfortunately he succumbed to his wounds. These are all, together with the bodies of our hostages, these are all devastating losses. All of us here in Israel send condolences to these dear families of our heroic fighters and our hostages who were abducted or who fell in battle from terror attacks, and of course our civilians. We embrace the bereaved families in their most difficult hour. We are committed to the testament of the fallen to continue to absolute victory over Hamas. May their memories of all the fallen heroes be a blessing forever. Now an update from COGAT and their work coordinating aid into Gaza. Aid continues to enter apace. 832,000 tons of aid have gone in, more than enough food for everyone in Gaza, 80% more than from before this war. Finally, we here in Israel were sad to learn of the passing of Saken Jackson in the UK. Saken was a chair of the trade union Friends of Israel. Saken was a deeply committed Zionist. He loved Israel to his very bones. He stood for two simple truths: freedom and democracy. So Israel pays tribute to the passing of a great friend of Israel. That's the end of our briefing today. I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat together with your news outlet. Thank you very much. First question here is from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. Former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who boycotted the speech, said that Netanyahu's address was the worst ever given in Congress by a foreign leader. What's your response? Thank you for that question, Joel. I think that perhaps she's in a minority of one because, as was testified by the multiple standing ovations which the Prime Minister got, this was a very, very effective speech. The Prime Minister, on top of his form, speaking about Israel fighting the fight, a fight of good versus evil, and the call for the unbreakable bond between Israel and the US to continue into eternity. The relationship between our two countries is absolutely key. It's extremely important to us. It's based on shared values, of course, but of course on shared enemies as well. But I think the speech itself speaks for itself, and the speech has been overwhelmingly praised by all quarters. So we don't recognise that criticism. Next question from Jim Williams of Zenga International News. David, good afternoon. After the past nearly 300 days, you've told us about UNRWA members being sympathetic to or even part of Hamas. Are you aware if UNRWA has supplied weapons to Hamas, similar to the situation in Bangladesh where UN weapons are reportedly being used against innocent citizens by the Hasina regime? Thank you very much for that question, Jim. The connection between UNRWA and Hamas is very, very well documented. We have supplied all the evidence to the United Nations, to the Secretary General, to Philip Lazzarini, the head of UNRWA, and the evidence is absolutely damning. I mean, the latest information which we've sent gives the name of over 100 UNRWA individuals who are also members of Hamas. We have given details of Hamas members who are also workers for UNRWA who took part in the October 7th massacre. We've given evidence of UNRWA employees who took our people hostage on October the 7th. We've given evidence of the Hamas server farm sitting right underneath UNRWA's headquarters in Gaza, sharing electricity between the two operations. And we've talked about the money laundering which was going through UNRWA and with money going to Hamas. There is no doubt that this UNRWA organization, who has an important role, is failing the people of Gaza. All of us who want a better future for the people of Gaza, not a simple perpetuation of this conflict, which UNRWA does. It is firstly hopelessly inefficient at distributing aid. It's been shown that over the last 300 days. Hopelessly inefficient. It has been shown to be in cahoots, hand in hand with Hamas. If we want a better future for Gazans, as I think all right-thinking people would want, then UNRWA cannot be part of that solution. We need a new organization untainted by its hatred of Israel and committed to the future of Gazans, not simply running schools which teach Jew hatred or glorifying terrorism, the ultimate aim for anyone's life in Gaza is to die as a shaheed, as a martyr, killing Jews. All of that stuff needs to be swept away, and something new and effective needs to be put in its place. Israel is ready to play its part, and we want other international partners to play their part too. Next question is from Hannah Julian from the Jewish Press. What time will the Prime Minister be meeting Vice President Kamala Harris? Also, what time will he meet with former President Donald Trump? Finally, where will the Prime Minister be spending Shabbat? Thank you, Hannah, that's for those questions. I don't have the details yet. As soon as we do have the details of the timings of those meetings, we know the meeting is 1 o'clock with President Biden. The other meetings I don't have the timings on yet, and I haven't got the answer to the final question which you asked about where the Prime Minister will be spending Shabbat. I can tell you that the Prime Minister will be flying home immediately after Shabbat, but I haven't got details of where he will be spending Shabbat. As soon as we have that information, we'll share that with you. Isabel Kirshner, I think it's Kirshner, from the New York Times. Thank you, David. Yes, it is indeed Isabel Kirshner. Could you please give us the latest numbers of soldiers and civilians killed in the north of Israel by fire from Lebanon since the October 7th? Yes, thank you for that question, Isabel. The latest figures we have are 30 casualties. That includes civilians and soldiers. After this meeting, I'll be able to give you the breakdown between the two. We know that around 6,800 rockets, projectiles, suicide drones have been fired by Hezbollah at us here in Israel. And we know that almost 200,000 dunams of land has been burnt by these Hezbollah attacks. Just a reminder that there is no the situation between Lebanon and Israel, there's no territorial dispute. Israel withdrew precisely to the blue line, which was endorsed by the United Nations, so there's no territorial dispute. The efforts by Hezbollah now are simply Jew hatred. They are on a spate of Jew killing, which is why we've moved up to 80,000 of our people out of the area to keep them safe. But one way or another, this is not a situation which is sustainable. Israel has made clear that this situation cannot be sustainable. We're fighting radical Islam on 7 fronts, and Hezbollah in particular in Lebanon. We're going to continue to operate against them, against their aggression. We're going to use all means necessary to restore security on our northern border and to safely return our citizens to their homes. The state of Lebanon and the Hezbollah terrorist organization, under the auspices, under the direct direction of Iran, bear full responsibility for this deterioration of the security situation in the north. And as you know, it's in violation of UN Security Resolutions 1559 and 1701. But I will provide you the breakdown of those figures together with more details of the damage which has been done, Isabel, after this meeting. Next question is from Fred Ager. The new UK government, led by Labour, is reportedly expected to withdraw its objection to the United Nations Criminal Court request for an arrest warrant against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the Gaza war, following London's decision to resume funding to UNRWA. What's your comment? Thank you very much for that question, Fred. I think the wise thing to do would be to wait for that decision from the British before passing any comment. We've made clear our views on the ICC, and I won't share them here again today, but let's wait and see. I'd rather not make comment until we see what the UK decision is. One more question from Hannah Julian. Do UN personnel in Gaza and or in Jerusalem, Judea and Samaria have weapons issued to them by the United Nations? Let me read your question again. Do UN personnel in Gaza and or in Jerusalem, Judea and Samaria have weapons issued to them by the United Nations? Thank you for that question, Hannah. I haven't got any information on that. I would recommend that you contact the IDF, who may be able to answer that question in particular. Okay, I think that's the last question. So with that, thank you for joining us. The next briefing now will be on Monday. In the meantime, please do stay safe, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Djobnik signing off.